there! Welcome back to the Nauctis on YouTube. Submarine, a warship capable of operating both underwater and on the surface of the water. Initially developed as a watercraft in the 19th century, submarines were quickly adopted by navies worldwide for both offensive and defensive purposes. However, due to their nature as vessels designed to spend weeks, if not months, submerged underwater, submarines are an extremely hazardous environment to live and work in. When something goes wrong, the chances of escape are very limited. Unfortunately, this has been proven in many incidents where submarines experiencing problems quickly sank, resulting in the loss of the entire crew or trapping them in a long and painful ordeal. Among the many incidents, this is the worst submarine disaster of all time. The Kursk. All 118 crew members aboard the Russian submarine Kursk perished when it sank in the Barents Sea on August 12, 2000. This incident became one of the most tragic maritime accidents in military history. Initially, the Kursk submarine set sail from Russia on August 10, 2000 for a military simulation exercise in the Barents Sea, near the Arctic Circle. There, the 152-meter-long submarine joined other Red Bear State equipment. On August 12th, the Kursk arrived in the Barents Sea, and the nuclear-powered submarine was scheduled to conduct torpedo firing exercises at 11:29 local time. As the Kursk was preparing to launch a missile, two explosions occurred on the submarine's hull in close succession. As a result, a large and gaping hole was created in the most critical part of the submarine. Consequently, the Kursk sank rapidly, along with its entire crew. At that time, there was no Russian fleet in the Barents Sea aware of the fate of the Kursk submarine, and war simulations continued. After several days, news of the submarine sinking finally reached Moscow and the world. A week after the sinking, a rescue mission was finally undertaken by Russia itself, without assistance from other countries, on August 19, 2000. When the rescue team arrived at the seabed where the Kursk had sunk, they were shocked to find that no one had survived, and the victims' bodies were difficult to locate. The international community pressured then Russian President Vladimir Putin to raise the wreckage of the Kursk from the bottom of the Barents Sea. Putin, who agreed to international demands, allocated $100 million for the operation to raise the submarine from the seabed. The operation, carried out on September 26, 2001, became one of the most historic missions in maritime history because nothing of the size of the Kursk had ever been raised from the ocean floor. Unfortunately, only half of the submarine's hull could be brought to the surface, leaving the other half at the bottom of the sea, containing the most vital evidence. To this day, the detailed causes of the Kursk's sinking and the mystery of the explosions on the submarine's hull remain unsolved. ARA San Juan. Submarine tragedies have occurred multiple times in the modern era. After the Kursk submarine incident in 2000, another incident befell the ARA San Juan, an Argentine Navy submarine that sank on November 16, 2017. The German-made submarine carried 44 crew members and disappeared in the South Atlantic Ocean. The last signal from ARA San Juan was transmitted 432 kilometers off the coast of Patagonia on November 19th. On December 1, 2017, Argentina announced the cessation of rescue efforts for the crew of the ARA San Juan. The announcement was made by Argentine Navy spokesperson 𝗫𝗫𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁, stating that the search had shifted from a rescue mission to locating the submarine's wreckage in the depths of the Atlantic Ocean. It is believed that the submarine's sinking began when the captain reported water entering the submarine's snorkel, causing one of the vessel's batteries to short-circuit. At that moment, the Navy immediately ordered the ARA San Juan to return to its naval base in Mar del Plata. The captain initially reported that the leak had been contained, but a few hours later, an explosion was detected not far from the last known location of the ARA San Juan. After a year of being missing, parts of the ARA San Juan submarine were finally discovered. The submarine was found at a depth of over 800 meters in the Atlantic Ocean. The wreckage that was visible included the propeller, torpedoes, and the top section of the submarine. The evacuation process of the submarine proved to be challenging. Some researchers estimated that raising the ARA San Juan would cost billions of US dollars. Regarding the high cost of recovery, Argentine Defense Minister Oscar Aguand stated that the Argentine government was unlikely to be able to carry out the operation. The difficult underwater terrain was another reason why the submarine's lower section could not be raised. The explosion that led to the sinking of the ARA San Juan was likely caused by a hydrogen concentration triggered by the earlier reported battery short circuit by the captain. USS Thresher. On April 10, 1963, the nuclear-powered submarine USS Thresher sank in the Atlantic Ocean along with its entire crew. A total of 129 people, including 16 officers, 96 sailors, and 17 civilians, were declared dead after the wreckage of the submarine was found. USS Thresher suddenly sank to the ocean floor about 300 miles off the coast of New England and was declared missing. On April 9, 1963, the military submarine USS Thresher, commanded by Lieutenant Commander John Wesley Harvey, departed from Kittery, Maine at 8 a.m. and met with the submarine rescue ship Skylark at 11 a.m. to begin post-overhaul diving trials in an area about 220 miles or 350 kilometers east of Cape Cod, Massachusetts. However, on April 10th, when Skylark did not receive any communication signals from Thresher during the depth test, surface observers gradually realized that Thresher had sunk. By late afternoon, 15 Navy ships were en route to the search area. The commander of Submarine Force Atlantic immediately sent a message to the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard to begin notifying all crew members' families, starting with Commander Harvey's wife Irene, stating that USS Thresher was lost. On the morning of April 11th, all hopes of finding Thresher vanished. Chief of Naval Operations Admiral George W. Anderson Jr. went before the press corps at the Pentagon to announce that the submarine was lost. President John F. Kennedy then ordered all flags to be flown at half-mast from April 12 to 15 to honor the 129 passengers and shipyard personnel who were lost. Search operations were conducted near the accident location on April 15, 1963. The search operation successfully found debris that was later confirmed to be from Thresher. The entire search operation was halted in September of that year. INS Dakar. The Israeli Navy submarine, INS Dakar, carrying 69 sailors, disappeared on January 25, 1968. The fate of the submarine remained a mystery for many years. Dakar was built during World War II by HM Dockyard in the United Kingdom and was commissioned as HMS Totem by the British Navy in 1943. After the war, the submarine was modified by adding 12 feet to its length and removing some of its weapon decks. Israel purchased the submarine, along with 2 similar vessels, from the United Kingdom in 1965. On November 10, 1967, the Israeli Navy officially launched it as INS Dakar. After testing near Scotland, Dakar was scheduled to travel to Haifa, Israel, for an official ceremony in early February 1968. As INS Dakar moved toward Haifa, the submarine was supposed to radio its position to the Israeli command center every day. As it passed Gibraltar and entered the Mediterranean Sea, Lieutenant Commander 𝗤𝗂𝗲𝗯𝗃, in charge of Dakar, requested permission to arrive in Haifa early on January 28th. However, on January 24th, Dakar passed the island of Crete and sent its position radio message for the last time. There were additional signals from Dakar just after midnight on January 25th, and then nothing. The submarine disappeared without a trace. After the submarine missed its scheduled signals, unsuccessful attempts were made to contact Dakar throughout the day. The following day, an international search and rescue operation began. Forces from the United States, Greece, Turkey, and Lebanon all attempted to locate Dakar for 5 days before giving up. Israel continued its search alone until February 4th, 1968. Despite some speculation that the submarine was intentionally sabotaged, Dakar's whereabouts remained a mystery for a long time. In 1999, more than 3 decades after its disappearance, the wreckage of INS Dakar was finally located on the seabed between Cyprus and Crete at a depth of approximately 3,000 meters. Israel declared every January 25th as a national day of mourning for the sailors aboard Dakar. A monument to the crew was later built on Mount Herzl in Jerusalem. USS San Francisco. One of the notable submarine accidents is the incident involving the USS San Francisco SN 771 submarine, which collided with an underwater mountain. The SN 771 is a nuclear-powered submarine of the Los Angeles class belonging to the U.S. Navy, weighing 6,145 tons and bearing the motto, "Gold in peace, iron in war." On January 8, 2005 at 2:45 a.m., the San Francisco was conducting an underwater voyage 675 kilometers southeast of Guam at a depth of 160 meters when it suddenly collided heavily with an unknown object. The collision was severe, nearly causing the submarine to sink. The front part of the submarine, including ballast tanks and the sonar dome, suffered significant damage. Fortunately, the crew of the San Francisco successfully conducted disaster response operations in a highly professional manner, working together to return to the surface. The San Francisco underwent an emergency blow procedure to increase buoyancy. In this accident, 98 crew members were injured, and 1 crew member lost their life. When on the surface, the San Francisco could not travel at high speeds to prevent further flooding. Eventually, on January 10th, the submarine was escorted back to Guam by the USCGC Pulau Galveston, USNS 𝗤𝗖𝗄𝗃 Fred W. Stockham, and USNS 𝗤𝘃𝗲𝗄𝗃. Initially, the US Navy believed that the incident was caused by an enemy, but after further examination of the damage, it was confirmed that the San Francisco had collided with an underwater mountain that had not been charted. As a result, the US Navy held Captain Kevin Mooney accountable for negligence in some navigation and sailing procedures. However, considering Captain Mooney's clean record, the court-martial only resulted in a suspension from command and a reprimand. Meanwhile, 20 officers and dozens of other crew members received commendations for their heroic actions, earning them praise from the entire US Armed Forces as new heroes. The San Francisco underwent permanent repairs at the Puget Sound Naval Shipyard with the replacement of a new bow section for the submarine.